Welcome to RetroLogic. I'm Dan Caparello, and joining me today, as always, is John Cummins.
Howdy.
And Sam Wagers.
Hello.
And this week we've got a very special guest, Jon J, host of the Stream 3000 podcast. And we are going to chat about... I don't like doing recaps at the top of the show. You're going to listen anyway. John, how's it going, man? Thanks for joining us today.
It's going great. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Sweet. Good stuff. Well, RetroLogic isn't just a podcast. It's also a retro game store. So go visit retrologic.games and check out our inventory of clean, tested, and authentic retro games and merch. T-shirts and pins and buttons and stickers. No buttons. Why did I say that? But other stuff. Go check it out. Guys, we are post E3. And I think everybody got something that they wanted for Christmas. I mean, E3 this year.
Same thing.
We unwrap. It's basically our Christmas, except we don't usually get to play the games after we unwrap them, which is a bummer sometimes. But let's go down around the horn and just talk about things that we actually bought and played this week. So, Jon J, since you're our guest, why don't you jump in first, man? What did you buy? What did you play this week?
Yeah, man. Good question. I picked this up yesterday.
Nice.
007 Agent Under Fire. I don't know if you guys have played this game before. So I might start with some controversy right off the get-go, but this game is far better than GoldenEye. So know that straight up. No, I'm a big fan of the James Bond games, and I actually thought that EA did some great games when they had the license. And I'm a big GameCube fan, but there's like GameCube tax, as you guys will know.
Right.
Everything
right
on the GameCube is just more expensive. Yeah. So if I can find something on the Xbox, I usually grab it on the Xbox if it's the same game that came out on both systems. So I picked that up. I haven't played it yet, but I have Nightfire as well, which is even better. Great game. But I've been playing Breath of the Wild again, and I've just fallen into a deep Breath of the Wild hole, the rabbit trail, and just loving that. I'm playing that with my son and just exploring Hyrule again, trying not to do any of the scary stuff when we're playing together. But man, I'm just continually blown away. I think I'm enjoying it more this time than the first time that I played it, but just continually blown away by how much they thought of and how much they packed in to this game. It's just jam-packed.
Yeah. I mean, it was delayed so much, so they had so much extra time, and they really used it to their advantage, honestly. Behind every corner, there's something to discover.
Yeah.
So that's super cool. And you said you're playing that with your son?
Yeah, so we just play together a lot and just go hunting or find shrines or stuff like that, upgrade armor. It's crazy, man. I think when I first played it, I played it on the Wii U, and I didn't really know... I was kind of like trying to get to the end eventually. And this time I'm playing it and like I just have no like solid objective. Like every time I pick it up, I'm like, oh, I'll do this today or we'll do that. And, just exploring. And sometimes I'll listen to podcasts while I'm playing. Like it's just such a chill game. Love it.
Awesome. Good deal, man. Thanks for telling me that. Super looking forward to the sequel. I'm letting it cook right now. I'm not going to get too crazy about it, but I'm really, really looking forward to that. Other John.
Yes.
We're having to like keep track of which
John
Johns
1,
we're talking
John
to.
2.
Jon J, Jon C. Jon C, tell us about what you bought, what you played this week.
Let's see. I went to it's pretty much local. It's a town that's probably 15, 20 minutes away from mine. And they have a local store called Game World. And I purchased a few games from them that I like this store in particular because every once in a while I can find some stuff that they haven't marked up to current price yet. Nice. So I can get like a steal on it. They just have so much that I don't think it's possible to keep up with it all. And so I got Atelier Ayesha for PS3. Valhalla Knights for the Wii, Knights for the Wii, and Sonic the Secret Rings for the Wii, I also picked up a copy of 007 Agent Under Fire, except for I did get the GameCube copy.
Nice.
And
how much
this was
is that
only
one?
$8.
Oh, sweet.
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's funny because the show that Dan was not here for, and we had Drew from Dad's After Dark on, he shares a very similar opinion to yours that that's a way better game than GoldenEye. Like, that was the thing he talked about, was how much he loved that game.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it's got really great multiplayer. So if anybody doesn't know, this is based off the Quake 3 engine, and
I didn't
so the
know that.
multiplayer is actually really solid. I think you can put bots in and all that kind of stuff, but there's also like jetpacks and all kinds of stuff you can do to mess around with the physics. So the multiplayer in both this game and Nightfire are super solid, and of course you can use dual analog sticks, which you can't do in the N64 James Bonds, but
Man, can I just say that whole generation, Xbox, PS2, GameCube, had so much awesome like experimentation with the multiplayer, like especially with shooters. Like, you had time splitters with like map creators and stuff like that, and you had I don't know if you guys have heard of a game called Metal Arms: Glitch in the System, but it's like a kind of a third-person shooter. But the multiplayer in that, you could like take command of these giant robots, and that would like destroy everybody. And there were like pros and cons with doing that, and there was a whole like there were guns that would just cut off the limbs of your enemies. And so now you could dual wield normally, but now you can't because somebody cut off your arm, and it's a whole, you could cut somebody's leg off and slow them down, like all kinds of crazy multiplayer stuff that nowadays I just feel like the formulas have gotten so samey. You know, like, let's get back to some experimentation with multiplayer. That's what I think.
I thought you were going to mention the GameCube with the GBA Link and like Crystal Chronicles and Four Swords Adventures. Like, I thought you were going that way with weird
There's
multiplayer
experimentation, and then there's nonsense.
It's a good point. All right, John, keep going with your list.
Yes. So I also picked up Mystic Heroes for the GameCube. I picked up Odama finally. This one's for Sam. I haven't got to
The
play
new
it
clock.
yet.
Odama's the
Yes.
next clock. I'm calling it now.
I passed.
Clock
Hold up,
talk.
hold up.
Clock talk is come and gone.
In what
Next
way?
is Odama Rama.
You're talking about the memes, the level of memedy that it has achieved in the Discord. Is that what you're talking about?
I just want it to be okay. Let me have this.
Okay, all right, I'll let you have it.
So the same store had a complete in-box copy that came with the mic, like it had everything, the bundle. But that thing's gone up to like $50. So I was like, I'll just buy this loose copy for $10. I already have a mic. Well, it's not loose. I mean, it's still complete in box. It just doesn't. It's not the one with the mic bundle with the
Right.
cardboard box and everything.
Those are a little more expensive. Like the whole cardboard box
Yeah.
thing, it's up to like 60 or 70.
I guess it's just because it's a special box. Like it's a box not like any other GameCube box. So
There's not a whole lot of GameCube games that came in boxes that I can think of.
Yeah.
Some of the
Here,
Mario
anyway.
parties, but yeah, other
Yes,
than that.
same reason. Come with a microphone or a peripheral. And then last but not least, I picked up a really weird, janky N64 steering wheel controller that I've yet to test out.
It looks
is
so weird.
I'd never seen it before, so whatever. I got that at a yard sale, and I just walked up and I was like, "What is this thing?" And like, it was all folded up and had the cord wrapped around it. Had like an inch of dust on it, but it was only wanting $3. So I was like, "Well, I've never seen it before, so I have to buy it, try it out."
What brand is it?
I think it's
Does it have a brand?
ASC2,
Okay.
so
I
it's
had
reputable.
an
But
N64 steering wheel back in the day, but I don't remember what brand it was.
there was Mad Catz had one. There was
Yeah.
a bunch of different ones that they had.
I had an Intech one, I think.
Yeah, the ones that actually looked like the steering wheels that we get today with consoles, those ones were not bad.
Yeah.
This is like it looks like it should be a chair. Like it folds like a folding chair. It's really weird looking. But no, it was. I have yet to try it out, so I might have to like do some video footage of it once I get it up and going. But no, it's just too zany to pass up on, so I didn't. As far as playing games, Miitopia, I had to throw the towel in. I got to the last chapter, and I was basically only playing this game for the monthly mayhem, which ended on yesterday, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I was pouring all my time in. I got a late start. I think I only got to play it for like 5 days out of the time, because everything else was taking up so much time. Yeah, I threw in the towel. I didn't finish that one. And then I played Namco Museum for the Wii with my daughter. I put one of my Wiis in their room so they could play it again. They had the Wii U for a long time, but it's got to the point where like I don't trust anybody with my Wii U because I don't want it to break, because it's the only one I have at this point. So I was like, how about you kids play with the console that I have like 5 of, so that if you break it, it's not as big of a deal. So I've taken my Wii U back, and it's on my desk now. They mostly played the Wii games anyway. The Wii U didn't have near as many kid games, it didn't seem like. And then I just wanted to throw out, I played this game called Alba, A Wildlife Adventure, which is a game I did a first look for the Nintendo Dads. This is an awesome little game. It's not very long. It's a new game, so it's not, I don't want to talk a whole lot about it, but it's just like a weird laid back explore an island and take pictures. It's almost like a Pokemon Snap type game, but you control your character in a 3D space instead of being on rails. So
cool.
It was pretty interesting. But that's it.
Nice. All right, and now Sam, what do you got for me, dude?
Yeah, my list shows that I had a reaction to this E3 Direct, because I went out and I immediately ordered a copy of Samus Returns on the 3DS, because I'd been thinking about it for a while, kind of sort of hoping it would actually become cheap, because it's pretty much still like almost full price for a used copy.
It's about to go up.
Metroid doesn't go down.
I think Fusion is going to go way up. I don't know about Samus Returns.
It's been the opposite.
There are a lot more people who have 3DSs.
It's been weird. Samus Fusion has pretty much stayed, and then whatever.
I would think Fusion would be the one that would be in huge demand. Zero Mission is the most expensive anyway.
Yeah, but it's gone up even since since this.
Fusion's gone up a bit, but it's still hovering around 50.
And I'll be honest, I was on the fence about Samus Returns for a long time. I saw the parry and I did not like it much, but at least looking at the Dread gameplay, I'm like, okay, I can see this being a good addition. I barely got a chance to actually play Samus Returns so far, and I still have some worries about it. I'm like, okay, is this what fighting enemies in Metroid is now? I just see an enemy and wait for it to charge me so I can parry. Like,
well, you can't parry everything.
Yeah, but it does seem like at the beginning they really want to like get you used to it. So there's a lot of stuff.
I will say the enemies are designed around it in that game, so like there's a reason why you have it. To me, Dread looks a lot better because it's actually incorporated as a movement. Like there's the parry, like dash parry that they're doing, which starts connecting things and making the combat more fluid through Metroid, which is kind of different than what it usually is. Usually it's kind of like a stalking type combat for Metroid. Like you kind of come up on things and figure out how you're going to take it out, where now it seems like you're just going to charge in a parry and start
from the
taking stuff
gameplay
out.
we saw, I think it looks really good in Dread. I still have my misgivings about it on Samus Returns. I think I'll like the game, but I don't know that will be something I see as a net positive.
You can also choose not to use it if you don't want to.
That's a very good point.
That is true. But it does seem like that's often the most effective way to deal with enemies.
I mean, there's a few bosses that it highlights when you're supposed to use it, and it's almost kind of like a story beat that, you know, like it breaks up part of the boss fight. Like you'll parry it at the end of a certain part, and it breaks into another part of the battle. But as far as like the enemies that are wandering around, you can take them out just as easily with the beam cannon and other forms.
Sam,
that's true.
I have 2 things to say to you. Okay. First of all, you're crazy because Samus Returns is great. It's awesome. Play it and enjoy it, and remember that I told you that. Number 2 is I just bought a copy of Odama, and it's your fault. So
You're welcome.
just literally
So now
while we
they're-
were sitting here, I was like, I should probably own this game. It's going to
it.
be the next
Do
Plock.
it.
So it's
Do you have a
probably
microphone for your GameCube?
No, but they're cheap. They're
Yeah.
cheap. I
At
had
least right
one.
now they are.
I had one, but I included it with a Mario Party 7 sale that I have on the website. So they're cheap. I'll find one. Okay, keep going. Do it.
Anyway, the other thing with the Direct is I immediately started playing Advance Wars Dual Strike again, and I got sucked into it hard. But as for things I bought, like 30 minutes ago, I picked up the Contra collection because it's $5 for another couple hours. So if you're listening to this later, sorry.
Yeah.
Which is one that I'd wishlisted and been meaning to pick up. I've actually only briefly played like Contra 3 and didn't get far, so it'll be interesting to check those out.
Those go on sale all the time too, so it's not as big of a deal.
They do, yeah.
And another thing I picked up on sale, which was from GOG on PC, was the King's Bounty series, which I'd been looking at and waiting to go on sale for a while. There's actually 4 whole games in this series, all on the same engine. I got like all 4 of them for like $16, so it was just kind of a, yeah, why not just get the whole set, even if I don't like it. It does not include the original game. So the game was basically rebooted in like 2008. The original is much older. It actually had a Genesis port. But other than that, it's been a PC thing. King's Bounty 2 is coming to Switch this August and PC. So that will be a second reboot. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. This is basically... Technically, the Heroes of Might and Magic series is a spin-off of this.
That's interesting. The Genesis game is not
that
expensive.
went on to be a lot more prevalent. The other thing I will mention, if you're thinking about getting it, the Genesis game apparently is harder, somewhat unintentionally, because it like puts a real-time time limit on your decisions. It is a turn-based game. But the Genesis one apparently does some things that actually make the game harder.
Yeah.
It's a like a strategy RPG, but it's procedurally generated.
Oh, that's crazy.
A lot of the key to winning is getting a good lay of the land on the map.
Yeah.
And then figuring out where to go win, because you're gonna like immediately run into enemies that are too hard to beat. And you're going to have to just like run away from them and find some weaker enemies so you can level up.
So it's cheap. It's $17-18 loose on the Genesis, $35 complete. But if you said you picked it up on Switch?
Well, the original you can't.
These
I got on GOG. This is the first reboot.
GOG.
And
Okay.
King's Bounty 2, which is actually getting the 2. So this is King's Bounty the Legend, King's Bounty Crossroads, King's Bounty Warriors of the North, and I forget what the 4th one's called.
So are they standalone games or are they expansions?
Yes. All of them look pretty much the same. They're all in the same engine. Some of them include expansions that were actually released later.
I mean, they're not considered sequels by number, right? They're just continuations.
There is a continuity. So I know that because I looked at starting up the second one, Crossroads, which includes the expansions. But the original title without the expansions is called Armored Princess. And the reason for that is there is a princess in the first game, Princess Amelie, who's like a little girl. And then in the second game, you play as her and she's an adult. So there is some continuity.
Cool. That sounds cool. That sounds right up my alley. Turn-based strategy.
Yeah, it's got a little Advance Wars in its blood.
Well,
because the
now
main
you've
thing,
sold me.
you level up and your leadership increases and you can field more units at once, and you can group them in stacks. They have individual health, but they can die. So you'll have like a group of 8 swordsmen, and if they each have like 30 health and they take like 60 damage, then you have a group of 6 swordsmen and they'll be weaker. Kind of like Advance Wars.
Okay, cool.
As your units take damage, they get weakened.
What else you got for me, Sam?
Yeah. And as far as playing, just on Father's Day, I had a doubles tennis match of me and my nephew against my father and my brother of Mario Tennis on the N64. And let the record reflect that my team won, playing as Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr.
Yeah, boy.
After very close going to the third set of the match.
Woo.
Is that the last time we get Donkey Kong Jr. in a game?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, it is.
That's what I was thinking.
He wasn't in Mario Golf.
Gosh.
Yeah, and then they just started putting
They
Diddy
need to
Kong
bring him
in.
back. Yeah, they need to bring him back.
Despite the confusion as to whether or not he
Nobody
is
knows
Donkey
who that is
Kong.
anymore. Right, yeah, according to the
Donkey
lore.
Kong's father.
We're bringing him back. I'm telling you.
So weird.
That would make our Donkey Kong the third.
Yeah, he is. It's true.
He's a time variant. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, isn't Cranky Kong supposed to be the original Donkey Kong? And then
Yep.
That is what the manual for Donkey Kong Country says.
yes.
Great Ape
But yeah.
War, all of that. We don't have time to
is
get into that
Donkey
right
Kong-
now.
Donkey Kong
Anyway,
Jr. is
over
actually a young Donkey Kong.
Yes.
Anyway,
yes,
over the
John.
weekend, I also spent time playing a whole bunch of Steam demos. That is newer stuff, although a lot of it is retro-styled indie stuff. But I actually put some stuff up on my blog about some of the demos I played during Steam Next Fest, because Steam, as of last year, in the vacuum of E3, decided to kind of do their own digital event where they put up a bunch of limited-time demos, kind of like you're going to a show floor and playing them, except you don't have to wait in line or pay admission. So it's actually kind of better. They just don't have all the big names there. But there were some, like Blaster Master 03 had a demo out. Obviously, that's a game that comes out in a month, a couple weeks. But
Yeah, not very long.
still, it was cool to try it out. I was already sold on it, but it was cool to play it anyway, the first level.
Awesome. Good deal, man. Okay, so I started playing Game Builder Garage finally. It came out like 2 weeks ago, but I just this week I finally got to dig into it. And I'm just still in the tutorial. I have some ideas of stuff I want to make.
The first game tutorial, or because there's like 7 lessons.
Oh, I'm in game number 3. I'm in the space shooting game.
Yeah, I'm at game number 5 now.
So some of it I am like on the verge of understanding, but the rest of it's fairly simple. Like a lot of the like logic stuff gets a little hairy for me, which is probably why I never took up programming in the first place. But they do make it super easy to understand, and so I'm thankful for that, which is, that's great.
I actually like the puzzles. The
Yeah.
first set were annoying because they made you like redo stuff you just did in the first lesson.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, it's like, oh, like they're actually like making you think about stuff.
Yeah, that I really appreciate, because when the tutorial is basically like, do this exact thing, now do this exact thing, so you're just following along. Like it could just be a video. But the puzzles really do make a difference. I want to try to make some kind of gauntlet style, like top-down RPG hack and slash thing. That'd be fun. Still have a lot to learn about like keeping track of numbers and what those numbers do and represent in game. So that there's a lot of logic there. So maybe I'm biting off more than I could chew, and I should start with something simpler. But that's just not my personality. I just want to go in with both feet and figure it out. But you are right. The tutorials and the puzzles are really fun, so I'm enjoying it overall. I also want to try to, I don't know if anybody else is trying to make Plock 2. I'm gonna give it a good try. Like throwing your things and having them come back to you seems like a very complicated set of things you have to set up, but
I may have already given it some thought.
yeah. So
Is that the third one? They tell you how to connect objects.
they did that in the
Because I know you
shooter.
can do textures,
Yeah.
and you can do a texture on an object, and you can connect different objects.
Mm-hmm.
So you would probably want a separate object for each of Plock's limbs.
But you would having them all stay together and then having one leave and come back
Every time you press a button.
like I don't know. I'm not even close to there yet. So that's gonna be a whole thing. We need to have a whole episode just on Game Builder Garage because it's pretty deep.
You know what? You guys should see if you can get the Plock license and then just launch a Kickstarter, and just bring it back.
Plock 2, made in
Full
Game Builder
scale.
Garage.
Yeah. I'm sure we could get the license because those guys are super friendly and open and love their community.
So how long is the tutorial on that game?
To like beat?
Quite long.
Yeah, it's long, but it doesn't take long to it's maybe an hour or less.
It does, and
per
it is.
game.
It's a drawn out sequence too, because they won't even just tell you what to do. They will tell you what to do, and they will tell you the wrong thing, and they'll be like, "Oops, this is what happens when you make this mistake."
But that's important to learn.
I just did one today
those.
that because it's the first time you set up a 3D environment, and they're like, "Oh, obviously we need a wall at the front. It's a fixed camera, but they're like, we need a wall at the front so you don't just wander out of the room and lose your guy." And then they tell you to make a wall, and then they say, go back to the game screen, and then all you see is the wall. And they're like, oh, yeah, we should probably make that an invisible wall.
I would say
it's constantly doing stuff like that.
I would say it's probably
which is good for teaching.
3 to 5 hours of tutorials to finish all the tutorials. You don't have to finish the tutorials before you go into free program, but I would get lost. So
you do have to do them in order.
That's true.
Which is a little annoying.
Yeah.
I need to get started then.
Yeah, that's why I started, because I'm like, I better do this. I played... So Chrono Trigger, I had a mishap where I had the 3DS in my pocket, and I hadn't saved yet. I had gotten through a certain area, and then the cartridge got ejected in my pocket somehow, and so I opened it up, and it was like, please restart the system, whatever. And so I was like, oh man. So I restarted it, and I opened the game file, and it was like back at the start of the food storage area. And so that's kind of annoying. I might be done with Chrono Trigger. I hate saying that, but I'm not even that far, and that happened, and that's a big momentum killer. But we'll see if it's easy for me to burn through that section again. It's not a very long section, so we'll see.
Saves are always a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also played this random fighting game by Taito in an arcade I was in yesterday called Dino Rex. Anybody know anything about Dino Rex? So Dino Rex is Primal Rage, except the dinosaurs are the size of dinosaurs. The sprites are huge, and they're all those claymation, Clay Fighter style sprites, but they're just all dinosaurs, like T-Rexes and Triceratops and a Spinosaurus, and they're huge. And so they have these little human sprites on the bottom, right? Just like Primal Rage. And the game's awful, but it looks so funny. Just go look up a YouTube video of Dino Rex, 2 words, in the arcade, and just laugh your butt off, because it was really funny for us. We just had a good time cracking up about that game. It was terrible. Horrible game. But it was really funny. And that's all I've got. Yeah, I don't think I picked anything up this week. I picked up Odama this week, just now. So I'm looking forward for that.
You got another one.
Gotta get a microphone, and then I gotta stream it. So we'll see.
Press forward, man.
Yeah. This is Primal Rage. It's identical. Almost.
Yeah, it's pretty much Primal Rage, but giant dinosaurs, huge. Yeah. Primal Rage eats its lunch, though.
What was that fighting game where you transform into an animal at some point in the fight? You guys know what I'm talking about? I thought it was called maybe Primal Fury or something like that. So
yes, I remember that now.
Everybody's like a werewolf or a were-rabbit or all these different things. So you're fighting, and then you build up a meter, and then at one point you transform. I think it's called Primal Fury, but
it's
Fury. Bloody Roar.
Bloody Roar.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Bloody
That
Roar.
sounds familiar.
That's the subtitle of the game is Primal Fury.
Oh, good. Okay, I had something right there.
You were on there.
I'm just getting old.
As soon as you said it, I was like, I know that game, and then that's it.
That's hilarious. Well, why don't we jump into some Prices Retro? What do you guys think?
Sounds good.
If this is your first time playing Price is Retro, I'm just going to go over the rules really quick. What we do is I'm going to list off 4 games, and you are going to guess what all of the games together are worth, what the lot is worth. And we're all going to do our lists, and we're all going to guess, and whoever is the closest to guessing the correct price of all the games wins. Y'all, you win the prize. You win accolades upon accolades. You win the crown, is what you win. And the rest of
You
us...
win a copy of Odama.
Yeah, no, you don't. You have to buy that yourself. It's cheap. Just go get one.
Oh, no.
So yeah, John's here. He's got his own list. We've got 4 of us. I think this is the first time that we've had 4 lists, 4 people guessing on an episode of RetroLogic. So this is going to be great because we've had people submit lists, but this is our first time with 4 people guessing, so it's pretty fun. Good times. Okay, so I'm going to do my list first, just so we get the flow of things, and then we'll go around the horn and do the thing. So list off the games without the prices. So the first game I have, good luck with these, by the way, because I've never heard of half of these. Yeah.
Quick clarifying question. Are we doing like loose? Are we doing case and box, or are we doing new?
That's up to you. We just tell us.
Specify in the list.
Yeah, tell us what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So for instance, I have all complete in box. You don't have to do that. You can do loose. Just tell us what it is, because that affects the price. Yeah, or a mix. Doesn't matter. Or some people put new in there, and then we're all kinds of thrown off. So here's my list. So the first game is Woody Pop for the Sega Game Gear, complete in box. The next game is Transbot for the Sega Master System, complete in box. We've got Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle for the Sega Genesis, complete in box. And Space Harrier 2 for the Sega Genesis, complete in box. So y'all add up your guesses, and there is a theme here, but I'm positive that nobody picks up on it because it is quite obscure.
I was going to say Genesis games we've never heard of, but...
Maybe that, yeah. Sega games.
In a Master
game in there.
System.
But Space Harrier...
Sega games we've never heard of.
Yeah. Anybody have a guess?
I'm just going to throw out a random 400.
Okay.
Because I have no clue.
Well,
Sam, come on, bud.
it's a lot higher than my guess, so you probably know
Just-
something I don't know.
He said it was a random guess. You might win.
105.
105?
Yep.
That's very specific.
Oh, man. I was going to guess a lot more than that, so I'm going to say 401. Just going to play that game.
He's got you, John. He's got your number here. Okay.
He does, yeah.
So, I'm going to tell the total value, then I'm going to say each individual value because that's just for curiosity's sake. The total value of all games is $118.
Whoa.
Sam is the man.
I was right about something.
Sam, you are so close on this one.
Like, there's no way. Genesis and Master System games, like... I don't know.
They're up
they'd
and
have to be
down.
very specific games.
They're up and down. So you had a pulse on that. Woody Pop for the Game Gear complete is $23. Transbot for the Master System is $33. Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, a staggeringly cheap $22. I don't know why nobody wants Alex Kidd. It's a great game. Space Harrier 2 for the Sega Genesis, complete in box, $39, the most expensive game. Does anybody have a guess on the theme? I'm guessing not, because it's pretty obscure. So all of these games were designed by this gentleman, and I'm going to really try hard not to butcher his name. Kotaro Hayashida. Kotaro Hayashida worked at Sega for a long time. He joined Sega in 1983. He worked on games. He worked on the Phantasy Star series, the whole Alex Kidd line. He helped design Alex Kidd as a character to try to compete with Mario, which we all know how that went. And then after leaving Sega, he went on to work for a Japanese developer, Game Arts. He worked on Grandia. He worked on Bomberman. He worked on all kinds of stuff. So he's super like unknown, but has worked on some stuff that's really, really prolific and cool. So just wanted to highlight him with my Price is Retro list. That's how I roll. Sorry it was so obscure, but that's Price is Retro. Sam, why don't you go next?
All right, so I've got 4 games. They are all complete, so keep that in mind. The first is Saberwolf for the Game Boy Advance, complete once again. The second, Jordan vs. Bird 1-on-1 for the NES, complete.
Oh, man.
Followed by Monster Max for the Game Boy, complete. And It's Mr. Pants for the Game Boy Advance, complete.
That's going to be one of those games that's just like $700 because nobody bought it.
Just because, yeah, Mr. Pants.
Oh, man. I some of these I just have no... I'll go first. Okay.
All right.
My guess is $270. Go ahead. Somebody go.
Yeah, I'll guess 250.
Jon J throwing spaghetti against the wall. I love it. Just seeing what sticks.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think I'm gonna go 300.
300?
Not $3.
Not $3. Okay. That would mean these have to be less than $1 each average, which would be impressive. So the total is $140.52.
Oh, yeah. Jon J, your spaghetti stuck, dude.
So do you want the full rundown?
Yeah, give us the rundown.
Yeah, you did. Okay, Saberwolf for the Game Boy Advance, $36.41. Jordan v. Bird, $39.11. Monster Max, $42.26. The Game Boy game was the most expensive. And It's Mr. Pants for the GBA, $22.74.
Man, why we gotta go so obscure for our guests? I mean, he won this one, so I'm not complaining, but...
I was gonna say, my picks are way too mainstream, man.
So these are all rare games, by the way.
Oh, really?
That was the theme. Yep. Okay. Mr. Pants was actually the Rare website mascot for a time. And then they just decided he needed his own puzzle game.
Well, I don't disagree.
Where you fit blocks together to make squares.
That's great. Mr. Pants. All right, John. Jon J, do you want to go next?
Sure, man. I'll go. Okay, I'm going to do new because I think that'll be more fun.
Oh, okay. See how it is.
And yeah, my theme's just kind of this stuff has all sort of come up this week.
Cool.
So, okay. So first up, we have, and it's interesting that you just mentioned this, Chrono Trigger for the DS, new. Okay. Second up, we have a Game Boy Micro, new.
Holy
We're just looking at the plain black
moly.
Game Boy Micro, new. Then we have Ys 8 for the Nintendo Switch, the limited edition, new. And finally, we have Pilot Wings for the Super Nintendo, new.
Pilot Wings for the Super Nintendo, new. Okay. Okay, so that'll cover that. Okay.
I'll just say there's one one trick to this that I think will surprise you. But
I don't. I have mine, but I don't want to go first. Somebody please go first. So weird.
I'll go first.
Go,
Fine.
Sam.
I'll be the sacrificial lamb. 600.
Okay. All right. $910.
Yeah, I was gonna say 1,000.
Okay.
Okay, so the correct answer is $1,006.
Jeez, man.
And I'll tell you the interesting thing. The cheapest thing on that list is actually the oldest thing. It's Pilot Wings on the SNES. That's only $71 for a new copy.
When I was
Ease
working
8.
when I was working at a retro game store in 2009, we had sealed copies of Pilot Wings just sitting around. Like you could still order them from somewhere. There were like warehouses that still had them. So that one I kind of had a pulse on. Some of these though were just like
Yeah,
oof.
the launch games are often pretty cheap.
Same thing with
because
F-Zero.
They're just everywhere.
Yeah, same thing with F-Zero. Had brand new copies of F-Zero.
Fun fact, this Ease 8 limited edition on the Switch is $391.50. So
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's
Bought
what
a
threw
copy
me.
of that.
That means I was probably pretty close, except for I figured that one was probably,
I was
between 60 and 100 is what I was thinking
Yeah.
for that.
I was doing
the crazy
400
part
for
is-
that one and 400 for the Game Boy Micro, and then the other ones.
yeah, the Game Boy Micro is $314 and the Chrono Trigger DS is $228.
Yep.
But Ease 8 just came out like 2 years ago, and even a new copy without the limited edition, it'll be $127.48. That's kind of insane.
Wow.
It's one of those games that just blew up in price really quickly too.
Yeah.
Wasn't too long after it released, it got pricey.
There's a bunch of Switch games that have done that, especially those not obscure but just kind of like niche special editions that are just like immediately. 'Cause
Yeah.
they didn't make a lot of them.
Langrisser.
Yeah. Awesome, you guys. Okay, John, hit us with the final score.
So, I haven't done my list yet.
Oh, you did. I'm trying to. Skip
Let me hit you
again.
let me hit you with my list before I.
I'm trying to skip you again, bro. I'm sorry.
Okay, so, first game on my list is Conquest of the Crystal Palace for the NES Loose. Second game is Vagrant Story on the PS1 Complete. The third game is Final Fantasy XII for the PS2 Complete. And the last game is Mad World for the Wii Complete.
Okay. Can you shotgun your list again, just so I remember what they are?
Conquest of the Crystal Palace for the NES
Okay.
Loose. Vagrant Story for the PS1 Complete. Final Fantasy XII for the PS2 Complete. And Mad World for the Wii Complete.
Final Fantasy 12 for the PS2, Mad World. Okay. All right. Jon J, it's your turn to go first.
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna say 150.
I've got 190.
I'm kind of down the middle, 175.
Okay. Boo doo boo
All
boo
right.
boo. Go ahead, John.
The total amount for my lot is 163.
Ooh.
Sam, you might win this one, dude.
I don't know. If we were going by percent off, maybe.
Well,
But I was off by 400 on Jon J's lot.
so Conquest of the Crystal Palace for the NES Loose is a $59 game.
Okay.
Vagrant Story for the PS1 Complete is $82. Final Fantasy XII for the PS2 is a whopping $7. And Mad World for the Wii Complete is $15.
I have some brand new
And-
copies of Final Fantasy 12 in the store for $20 if anybody wants to buy one of those.
And there, does anybody know the theme of this list?
Oh, Evilise.
These are actually all Matsuno games. So this is the creator of Ogre Battle. These are all his future endeavors
okay.
after Ogre Battle.
That's cool.
Whenever he joined
Ogre
Square.
Battle to Mad World, huh? Interesting.
Pretty much, yeah. Kind of went crazy after a while, I guess.
Didn't we all?
I mean,
don't
those
we all?
other ones are like, oh yeah, I can see that. Like that's kind of cut from the same cloth. And then
Yep.
it's just like, oh, Mad World,
Awesome.
sure.
Awesome, you guys.
And-
well, yeah.
So the winner of today's Presses Retro is Dan with he was 254 off.
Yes.
I was 444 off. Sam was 430 off, and our Hold on a minute. Nope.
Oh.
I think our guest actually won. I think I have a miscalculation here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What? Dude, you did me wrong, bro. I was hype. What the heck?
Yep, hold on 1 second, and I'll give you the guest's actual
And
number.
I had to convert from Canadian, so it was an extra challenge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
So let's see.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back,
Yes.
John's going to have our winner. So don't go away. Listen to this chill music, and we'll be right back.
The suspense.
Welcome back. Thanks for coming back. And John has a little bit of news for us. Lay it on us, John.
So the miscalculation wasn't enough to dethrone you,
Haha!
but it did put our guest in second place,
Ooh.
and I think that is the best that a guest has finished thus far.
Nice.
Nice.
So we're getting closer. Getting closer to that guest win.
Does that mean that you and I are tied still, John?
No, I think I was 3 games up, so I think you're still 2 back.
There's always next week.
Yes, you're climbing the ladder, though.
All right. Well, congrats, Jon J. That's pretty cool. The closest
Thanks,
to
man.
winning that any guest has ever come on a week with a lot of obscure games, so that's cool.
Yes.
I'm honored
Good
and
deal.
humbled.
Good deal.
and proud.
Good deal. So our community crossplay game this week, as we jump into our weekly topics, is Chrono Trigger. I think we're going to skip our conversation this week until I get a little further after my mishap. Very sad about it. But we do have some fun gaming history stuff to talk about. John and Sam both picked a game that came out on this day throughout history. So, John, why don't you take it away first? You've got Ogre Tactics.
No, it's Tactics Ogre.
Tactics
You gotta say it
Ogre.
right.
Which
This is a Final Fantasy Tactics.
I feel like Ogre Tactics makes more sense, but I'm not gonna fight you on it.
But no, what's even more confusing is that Tactics Ogre is the 7th chapter of a story, and there's only 3 games, so it makes sense of that. So, chapter 1 is Ogre Battle, March of the Black Queen. So the Matsudo is a big Star Wars guy, so he tried to do the same thing where like he was going to make games that came later in the story and then go back and make like prequels later, and then they just never went back. So all the chapter stuff is all out of whack on it.
Sounds like Final Fantasy.
Yes, which he's also worked on. So
Oh well, there you go.
anyway, Tactics Ogre it's basically why you have Final Fantasy Tactics. Without it, there would have never been the idea to create the game, and he actually did that game as well.
Oh, thank you
which I
very
know you're
much.
a big fan of.
I love
Yeah,
Final
there you
Fantasy
go.
Tactics. Yeah.
And it's basically just a tactics game in the same vein as Final Fantasy Tactics, just using the Ogre Battle lore, characters, and just different things. It's a fantastic game. It's been everywhere from Super Famicoms where it started, and it got re-released for the PlayStation, I believe, Game Boy Advance, and PlayStation Portable. So you have lots of ways to play it nowadays. And it's just a fantastic game. Go out and play it.
This is 20 years ago. Is that
That's the Super Famicom.
Oh, right on. Cool. Wow, really?
Yep,
2001?
I think.
That might have been Game Boy Advance.
Yes. Okay, it would have been in Game Boy Advance. Sorry. Yep,
Still,
that's the Game Boy Advance one.
that's probably the cheapest place to play it, I would imagine.
No, the PSP is the cheapest place
Oh, right.
to play it. Yeah, you can get
Who
the
has a
PSP one
PSP?
for like
Who's a
15.
PSP?
I do. Come on.
Did it get a Wii U Virtual Console release?
No, the 64 game did.
Okay.
And I think that it'd be hard to do now, but the Wii Virtual Console had the SNES game, the March of the Black Queen, as a Virtual Console title. But since you can't go buy them now, you'd have to go find a Wii that already had it, which is probably, you might as well just go buy a copy of it in the Super Nintendo.
I mean, the Famicom version is $11. So if you can speak Japanese or read Japanese, there you go.
Yes.
But yeah, the complete and box prices for the Game Boy Advance and the PlayStation are both hovering around $160. So yow.
Yeah.
PSP
I bought
is
a
30.
loose copy.
So.
Yeah, I bought a loose copy of the Game Boy Advance game not too long ago, but it was about $60.
Yeah, that's
So,
about the going
it's
rate.
probably- Yep. But it's a fantastic game.
Good deal. Thank you, John, for that. That's fun. And then Sam, you've chosen Mega Man Battle Network 5, which came out 16 years ago today.
No surprise.
What console is that for? And
Interestingly enough, on point with the it's a Game Boy Advance game, as are all the Battle Network games. All the main
There was a
ones.
GameCube, wasn't there?
Yeah, the transmission, but I consider that a spin-off of Battle Network. But yeah, there's transmission and there's Battle Chip Challenge was also Game Boy Advance, I think. It had a funky peripheral though. So yeah, this is near the end of the series. So there were 6 main installments with 2 versions. The series had some real fatigue, so they decided it needed some turn-based tactics elements. So that was kind of the big twist for this one, was that you actually controlled a team of different net navies, and you could actually even control them directly in battle, which was I'd have to check when Battle Chip Challenge was, but to me it was the first, because I didn't know about Battle Chip Challenge, and that game's honestly pretty underwhelming. The first time you actually controlled a character that wasn't Mega Man in combat. But yeah, it was pretty cool. This is one that I had to pick up later because I pretty much dropped off the series after 3. 4 was the definite low point. Almost every fan of Battle Network agrees. And it's strange to think of in these days of Mega Man drought, but at the time, Capcom was putting out 2 of these games a year. The X series was still wrapping up, and the Zero series was going.
Crazy.
So in the space of a couple years, there were about 20 different Mega Man titles on the Game Boy Advance, if you count the 2 versions of Battle Network as individual entries.
And then you had Mega Man Base, and just all kinds of
ZX
stuff.
was coming up soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ZX is essentially the continuation of Zero.
Yep.
But you had the 6 Battle Networks.
How many of them
4
do you
of
own,
which,
Sam?
5.
You own them all?
I own all 4 Zero games. Well, I own the Zero collection now too.
Yeah.
That is the great thing about Mega Man, is you can own basically all the good Mega Man games on your Switch.
Yeah, you can almost
Just by
own them
buying
all.
3 collections.
Yeah, right on.
Or 5 collections. You've got Legacy Collection 1 and 2, X Legacy Collection 1 and 2, and the Zero ZX Collection. All available on Switch, which is great. So we just need a Battle Network collection. There were rumors that was happening. I think that's one of those rumors that doesn't have a lot of substance to it. It's just everybody agrees it would be a good idea.
The not to get off topic too much, but at least the advanced Castlevania games appear to be getting a collection.
Yeah,
according to the ratings board.
Australia has rated them, so
Yes.
that's usually an indication that it's real.
Maybe we can actually see what was the first Game Boy Advance
Circle of the
one?
Moon.
Circle of the Moon. Yeah, maybe we actually can see it now.
Yeah,
It's full
So
of
I've
brilliance.
never actually played Harmony of Dissonance either, because that's the one I think people like the least. So I just never. I got into all those late. I started with Area of Sorrow though. That's still my favorite Castlevania game in the whole series.
I was gonna play all three on the Wii U, but I ended up just playing Circle of the Moon, which looks great on the Wii U.
Circle of the Moon's great.
And yeah, I had a good time. But you know, it was like once I finished it, was like I didn't really feel like jumping back in to two more. I've heard that Aria of Sorrow is the best though.
Yeah, the Circle of the Moon.
It's got a little bit of Mega Man in it. You kill enemies and get their powers.
Yeah. Circle of the Moon's biggest complaint when it first released was that you couldn't see the game on the Game Boy Advance. Like it was too dark of a game to not have a backlit screen.
It's funny. I remember reading about that game in EGM because they did like a whole guide. All the weapons are there's this card system, and the cards give you different kinds of weapons with different elemental powers. And never played that game back in 2001, and so like almost 20 years later playing it and remembering reading this EGM article and like, oh yeah, I stick these cards together and all this kind of stuff. So I like that DSS system, I think it was called, but I don't think they've returned to that since then. And that game wasn't made by Igarashi.
Konami? Oh.
Yeah, so the other two on the Game Boy were, and Symphony of the Night was as well. So, but this one was like different.
Yeah, Iga,
team.
the guy who went on to make Bloodstained.
Yeah.
Yes. Which apparently is also getting a sequel.
Yeah,
Awesome.
if they can ever deliver all the Kickstarter goals that they got.
All the promises they already made.
Well, that's a good segue into our news segment, because that was one of our that happened this week. Is the Australian ratings board that
Yes.
leaked that? Yeah, for the it's Game Boy Advance Castlevania collection, which would be an insta buy for many of us. I haven't touched any of those games. I'm actually still pretty much a Castlevania noob, having pretty much only played the first one for any length of time now, having been challenged by John to play
We're
it.
getting you there.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there eventually. And I'm still not a huge fan, but you know, that first Castlevania, what I've been hearing is that it's not great, and compared to the rest of the series, so that, you know, that tracks. But I think that would still be, because I have the Castlevania collection on the Switch, and I think the Advanced collection would be an insta buy for me as well. Though I haven't played them, it seems to be a good place to pick up some of that series. So
I'd take a DS collection too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, that would be nice.
It's kind of awkward, but I actually really like Portrait of Ruin and Order of Ecclesia. I know a lot of Castlevania fans don't like Order of Ecclesia, but I do.
I need that collection because those are the ones that I missed out on because I wasn't an early. Well,
Yeah,
I wasn't
and
an
those are
early
ones
DS
that I
adopter.
sold most of my DS games, so I don't have them anymore.
I was an early DS adopter, but I was not. I didn't stay with it. I hopped over to other things and kind of left my handheld ways behind at that time.
okay. So let's jump into some of our retro E3 roundup here. We're gonna just burn through basically some of the more retro inspired Redux re-release announcements that were made. Almost all of them were during Nintendo's E3 presentation, so it's mostly just going to be that stuff. Hope you don't mind.
Yeah,
We all
no
like
surprise.
Nintendo here.
Nintendo has a longer history than everyone else.
For show.
Yep.
So the first one is Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp launches on Nintendo Switch on December 3rd. This was the announcement that I got the most excited about during the actual presentation. I think because it was just the absolute last thing that I ever expected to see. And if you know anything about me, you know what a massive Advance Wars fan I am. And
and we've talked about it on here before.
Yeah,
You know,
totally.
it is kind of a bummer that like Fire Emblem's success we thought was just, you know, the nail in the coffin for Advance Wars. That
The dark side.
Intelligent Systems would always be busy with the next Fire Emblem. They'd never make another Wars game.
And they're not making this one. They're making
No, they're not.
Way Forward is making Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot camp, which I'm not mad about. It's fine. Give it to somebody else. Intelligent systems can do whatever they want.
Yeah, the big question is, is Way Forward going to, take this series and keep it? Is that in the cards?
I guess it depends on how this does.
This just, because it's not like they went on to make more DuckTales games. They made an awesome remaster of DuckTales.
Were there any more
that.
DuckTales games after that one? There weren't. If they made more, they'd probably go back to Way Forward because they killed it.
Now, it is called Reboot Camp, which is obviously just a pun on boot camp,
right.
But a reboot they tend to go somewhere with the series after.
That's true. Jon J, what do you got?
I was just going to say, I actually think there was a pitch for a new DuckTales game after they did that DuckTales remaster, and it looked amazing. But I think it was like a half April Fool's joke, half pitch, and I don't know if they could get the rights from Disney. But they wanted to keep going with it. I personally, I'm going to confess here, I've never played Advance Wars. I have played Fire Emblem, and I will say I like the mechanics of Fire Emblem, but I get tired of trying to keep track of 40 characters and all their hopes and dreams and all these kind of things.
I have a game for you?
I might like Advance Wars because it just get me straight to that combat without the JRPG dating sim that some people like that. That's not my thing, but
Man after my own heart right here.
And to me, it's always a difficult balance. Different games in the genre, different games even within the Fire Emblem series strike it better than others. But a strategy RPG is a tough thing because strategy can't be front and center when you just happen to level your guys up so much that you don't have to think. You can just charge in and watch enemies bounce off of them.
And so my love of Advance Wars comes from my love of real-time strategy. StarCraft, Warcraft, Command and Conquer. So you play Advance Wars, and the way that it's designed is it's essentially a real-time strategy game turned turn-based. Because there's no progression, there's no level-up progression through the game. Your progression happens within each battle. And you get some new units along the way, but that's just like StarCraft, right? So that's where my love of Advance Wars comes from. It's a totally different animal than Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire Emblem or Tactics Ogre. It's its own thing. So I don't even like to compare it to a strategy RPG. It's really a turn-based strategy game without the RPG elements at all. It's 100% strategy almost. So that's my jam. It's my jam. The next game on our list, we've got Mario Party Superstars launches for Nintendo Switch on October 29th. Anybody hyped for this particularly?
I'm getting it.
Yeah, I am very bummed out that they said only 5 boards. I'm like, really? Only 5 boards?
Why are the boards?
Are you gonna
such
add
a hot
more
commodity?
later? Because you kind of let us on with that before. It's our own fault for assuming. But I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking, well, the first Mario Party had 8 boards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Super Mario Party at least has the excuse that they can say, okay, well, we only had 4 boards in the main party mode, but we had the raft mode, we had the what's the one where you move in teams. Mm-hmm. They were sort of the same boards, but they were, there were a lot of different modes. This one, it's just the same board party mode as far as we know so far.
Do we think
there will probably be options to play mini games?
Do we think that they'll be adding boards as free DLC?
They haven't said they are.
They didn't.
It's something they could do, but they didn't do it for Super.
Will.
I think they will too, because I think this is they've heard the outcry of people wanting more boards. And if you notice in this game, all the boards that they've chosen so far are from the N64 era. So maybe we'll get some GameCube boards, and then Wii boards or something like that.
Super Mario Party got some DLC 2 months ago, right?
It got an update for online.
It wasn't DLC. It was just an update.
But it did get updated. Yeah. I wonder if maybe they didn't give it a huge update because they were going to be launching this game. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I haven't played Mario Party since the OG Mario Party, which I owned on the 64 and played till 5 in the morning with my friends trying to get all those stars. And
that became your enemies.
One thing I think is really
controller's
interesting.
your enemy.
Yeah, about this announcement was they said like everything can be played in handheld mode, and something that I noticed Nintendo's E3 overall is in the first year and a half, Nintendo pushed motion control, HD Rumble, and the Joy-Cons like super hard. They had ARMS, they had, Super Mario Party, 1-2 Switch. They had a bunch of games in that first year where they were just pushing all that stuff. And it seems like they've just really backed off of that. And Switch Lite could be a
Switch
part of
Lite.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it also could be that they realize, like, I feel like they always feel like they have to stick some gimmicks into their systems. And Switch had lots of good stuff and a few gimmicks. And I'm not saying that HD Rumble is, like, totally a gimmick. I'm just saying a lot of people who bought the Switch could not care less about HD Rumble. They couldn't even care less about motion control.
No, they just wanted Breath of the Wild.
That's right.
Well, and don't kid yourself if you don't think that Nintendo doesn't know. Like, they're collecting data everywhere with the Switch. They know if you take your Joy-Cons off to play a game, or if you leave them on, or if you're using a Pro Controller. They know all that. They know how many times whenever you bought Super Mario Party, that you linked two Switches together to do the one mode. Like, they know all these things, and they know how nobody did any of those things. Everybody just wants regular Mario Party.
Yeah, I mean, when was the last time you heard about 1-2 Switch? I mean, people bought that at the launch, and then it just kind of disappeared. And so I think you're right. They're looking at the data. I think there's probably younger people in the company that are like, we just don't have to do these things anymore. Like, if we just make really good games, people will buy them. The Switch will be a massive success.
You look at WarioWare, too. We've got a new WarioWare game coming, and no sign of any motion or tilt.
No,
or
totally.
Gyro,
that was another one.
Anything, which is a series you'd usually expect that for.
And I would just say, like, I like optional motion controls. Like, if motion control is an option for pretty much any game, I think that's great, as long as it's optional and it's not forced on everybody. So even, like, my son and I, we've been playing Let's Go Pikachu. You can't play that game with a Pro Controller. Like, you actually can't use a Pro Controller to play that game, which blows my mind. And it's just sort of one of those Nintendo things that hopefully they're done that. Like, just give us all the options. But I think Super Mario Party, or whatever the new one is, it looks pretty good. I think they're going back to some of the classic stuff that made it a great series. And I think ultimately people just want to sit around the TV and play bumper balls or whatever the game is and knock people off platforms and have a good time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I haven't played a Mario Party game in years and years and years. Just haven't had the crowd around me to do it locally. The online play with this one is enticing. Who we'll see what the community does when it comes out. If there's a bunch of people in the community picking it up and playing online, that might be something to look into. If there's a correspondence mode, maybe then it's something to look into. But I think there is, right? You can like pause your online game and come back to it whenever, something like that. Maybe not. But yeah, this is not first day one buy for me out of the gate. Just not something that I'm hyped for.
I'm going to pick it up for my kids, and that's going to be the most part of it. Mario Party is just a weird, like the Wii series, the Wii copies of the Mario Party series were really good, the first couple ones. And then they just like totally got lost with how they wanted to do Mario Party. They were like, let's have everybody be on the same team and be against Bowser. And like, it lost itself completely.
They were trying new things.
Maybe this will reset it and bring it back to normal Mario Party.
That's what people said about Super Mario Party, though.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. This one, at least, the boards are, vintage boards. So hopefully they're, going back to vintage ideas.
It seems really sad to me that the only way they can replicate the success in board design, which I don't think was that complicated, is to just literally make the same old boards.
You know what I am hyped for, though? Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania launching on PC, PS4, Xbox One, PS5, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch on October 5th. That's going to be an expensive week for me because that's the same week that Metroid Dread comes out. because I'm
A
not.
lot of stuff coming in October.
Yeah, and they have this like $40 physical special edition that comes with like an art book and everything and all this digital stuff. And as soon as I saw that, I bought it. I was like, yes, Nintendo, yes, Sega, I will buy your Super Monkey Ball collection with 1 and 2 on it because I'm insane and Monkey Ball is one of the greatest games ever designed. Period. Bar none.
Isn't this game already been done though? Like, isn't this just them bringing it back?
It's just a collection, but it's a collection
Okay.
of some of the greatest games ever made. John, do
Is
you
this
have a problem with that?
Is this basically both of those games on a package, or is this a sort of remix like for Mario?
It's a really
Party?
good question, and I don't have that answer for you at the moment.
I
That's
think
what I
it's
was-
I feel like I've gotten conflicting information. I'm also I haven't really played Monkey Ball except like once at a friend's house.
Also,
so-
I will buy it either way. So
My impression is that it is the full games, and it's not just 1 and 2, but there's like a couple more games, right? And they're all up-resed or whatever.
Banana Blitz
Now-
is probably on there too.
now I'm gonna go. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I
That's
think
funny.
the one that they just released is on there too. Like, it's insane.
Here's
But,
Sega's website.
I'll just say I've played little bits of Monkey Ball over the years, and I had one on the Wii, which I think was like not the best one.
That's Banana
but-
Blitz.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm vibing with Monkey Ball right now. Like, this is where I'm at in life. That controlling a monkey rolling around in a giant hamster ball
It's-
sounds like a great time.
Here's what it is. It's Marble Madness taken to its absolute best possible conclusion. Which Marble Madness is a fantastic game. I have the
I was gonna
website
say, how do
pulled
you
up.
build on that?
I have the website pulled up, and it does not appear to be the full Monkey Ball 1, Monkey Ball 2. What it is it's 300 stages from Monkey Ball 2, and Monkey Ball Deluxe, which is kind of like a souped-up version of Monkey Ball that came out on PS2 only. It has 12 of the best mini games, which it does have some of the best mini games: monkey racing, soccer, bowling, baseball, and more. Online leaderboards, yada yada yada. Anyway, that tells me it's like a best of the early days of Super Monkey Ball, and it's $40 for the physical special edition.
See, but now I'm a little concerned because it sounds like they're tweaking a lot of it. So hopefully it's good, but there's room now for error.
Well,
That
the
sounds
way
good to me, having not played them, because that's just easy. It's not
Yeah,
like I
take-
want to be flooded with like, oh, here, catch up on the last 10 years of Monkey Ball games. It's like, okay, here's the very best Monkey Ball has to offer. Check it out and
Yeah,
have fun with it.
just listen.
The way that
Just-
this sounded whenever they were covering it in the direct was that this is kind of like a port, like this has already been done before somewhere else, and they're just bringing it to current. But I'm not 100%
No,
sure.
I don't
That's just
think
what it
so.
sounded like.
Not that
Okay,
that's
maybe
not
I'm-
what I understood.
It's definitely not a new game, but it's not something you can get on the Switch or current gen stuff.
You can now, starting on October 5th. But let's move on to the next game. I don't want
Can I just add one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hopefully this is a trend for Sega because they love releasing their Genesis games, but like we need some more from the Dreamcast era, even from the Saturn era, and even from the GameCube era. I mean, like give us Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, or what was some of their other games on the GameCube?
That is possible. Sega recently ended the Sega Ages line, and they did release a statement on they're still very interested in bringing their legacy content to current platforms. They're just going to do it a different way, and part of that may be that they're moving to not just the Genesis.
Well,
They did
and
send out surveys asking if people wanted Dreamcast stuff. So
we have
Panzer Dragoon.
Panzer Dragoon remake. They have confirmed that they're making Panzer Dragoon remake, Panzer Dragoon's Way remake. We're praying they do Saga somehow, some way.
That would be crazy.
But as long as people keep buying these remakes, then they're going to keep doing it. So we need to get Jet Grind Radio. We need to get
House of the Dead.
Crazy Taxi. We need to get House of the Dead.
No, House of the Dead's coming. Like they're doing.
Oh yeah, they are. They're doing House of the Dead remake. They're slowly starting to like do that, and so just let's keep this going. Let's do
Burning Rangers.
Let's do
Burning
it.
Rangers reboot.
Let's get Power Stone. How about Power Stone, everybody?
Yes.
Let's
I don't
get
think that was a
Power
Sega
Stone.
game.
That's on
That was Capcom. But yes,
Yeah, it was just on
Power
Dreamcast.
Stone.
I'm so
Bring
mad.
it back.
Capcom's
I believe
not
there was
doing
an
that
arcade
right
version.
now, though.
Yeah,
Capcom's
there was.
not
There was
doing
also
version.
there was also a PSP collection for you guys who don't have PSPs.
Do any PSPs still work though? That's the worrying part.
it. They do. Yes, they do. But
You
we're
got
not here
one?
to talk about PSPs right now. We're talking about E3. So we're gonna move on to. Does
What in the world
anybody
is a
have anything to
Danganronpa?
say about Danganronpa Decadence? Decadence. Some people like it. I don't know what it is, but it's coming later this year.
This is one of those games people like, but I am not.
All right, then we're just going to keep moving. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 is coming to Nintendo Switch on June 25th. This is pretty much an insta-buy if you were a kid in the 90s.
I feel like this is too late. Like, Skate already came back. We're seeing all these other skating games. I feel like this should have.
Skatebird.
That's the
should have
only
come
other
out like 5 years ago.
the only other skating game I'm hyped for besides this is Skatebird. I want that.
What about Ollie Ollie World?
It's fine.
It's
Hey,
it's never too late for Tony Hawk.
It's never too late.
yeah.
Let's get the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 remake. Some people like 4 and Underground. I never went that far, but
True.
so good.
I still have them on like their original stuff.
Yeah, well, you're not
I
most
still
people,
listen to the
John.
music.
Actually, they're doing this week's episode of Retro Groove is all about the music of Tony Hawk. I think that's what they landed on. So if
The
I'm
original
wrong,
Tony
sorry.
Hawk.
Speaking of, I should plug that podcast sometime, so we'll talk about it later. The next game in our E3 roundup, we have Fatal Frame: Maiden of the Black Water, which was originally a Wii U exclusive. It's coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Switch later this year. Did anybody play this on Wii U?
I didn't play it on Wii U. I remember when it came out. I've heard it compared if Pokemon Snap was a horror game.
That's a really good comparison. I played the demo. There was a pretty good demo on the Wii U when it came out, and it is very much Pokemon Snap, but it's open. But it's more open. It's not on rails, and it's absolutely terrifying because you're very limited to what you can do in that game. Also, it has a pretty girl as the protagonist, which is never a bad thing.
Has an assist trophy in Smash Bros.
True that.
Yep.
And then finally, something that I'm very excited about, we have Cruisin' Blast launching on as a console exclusive on Nintendo Switch. Finally, if you
We're
know,
on the same wavelength.
yes, we are. If you know what Cruisin' Blast is, then you already know that this game is sick. I played it in the arcades, not knowing that it was a Nintendo
Oh yeah.
it's essentially a first party like IP at this
Yeah,
point.
I never realized
Think
Nintendo
about
owned
it, Dan.
that franchise.
Have you ever played Cruising on any other consoles throughout the history?
No, but I didn't. It's not something that comes to mind when I think of Nintendo. You know what I mean? So
Also, this game got confirmed for physical release as well, so be on the lookout for that.
dude, we
That's
need
what I was
more.
most excited about.
We need more arcade racers, dude. This stuff needs to
Yeah,
come
they're
back.
non-existent nowadays.
Have you played the arcade game, Jon J?
I remember these games back on the 64, and I have fond memories of them. They probably don't hold up as good as I think they do, but I thought this game looked great. I love arcade racers too. I love the ridiculousness. You know, there's a little bit of Burnout 3 takedown vibes in this with the boosting
Oh yeah,
and
super.
all the
It gave me
insanity.
super Hydro Thunder vibes with this for sure.
Oh yeah,
I
I,
want
can see that.
I want San Francisco Rush back. Like that's the one that I'm missing.
Is that
one was
Midway?
cool.
Yes, I believe so.
Who's developing this? Like, is this a first-party Nintendo game?
Oh, that's a really good question.
It's I can't remember the name. It's not developed first party. It's just published by Nintendo, I believe.
Because I was a little concerned.
It's a red logo that's a circle. Can't remember.
It
what
also
is.
reminded me of like Android racing games, and so hopefully there's a little bit more to it than those like mobile racing games that have sort of dominated the landscape in the last 5 years.
Okay,
10
okay.
years.
The actual developer is this company Raw Thrills,
Yes, Raw Thrills. That's the one I was thinking.
who, I mean, they did some great arcade stuff. They work for Midway, which is apparently still around.
Yeah.
So there's nothing. I mean, they're an arcade. I mean, they did the Pac-Man Chomp Mania game. They did Aliens Armageddon. They did the Fast and the Furious arcade games. They did the Guitar Hero arcade game. They're an arcade developer, right? So they know arcade games. I'm not worried about it.
What was that game on the Wii where you were like a vehicle, but the vehicle was also like a bug? Do you guys remember this game?
Excitebots. Excitebots, yeah.
I got some Excitebots vibes from this as well. So
Cruisin'
Truck, I think too.
Mm-hmm.
Cruisin' has a series of Midway games, even from the beginning, the original one.
They just only put it out on Nintendo.
It's published by Nintendo, so they brought it.
I totally feel you, John, on the Excitebots vibes too, because that's super arcadey as a racer. We need more of that, you know. Somebody on Twitter the other day said we need more arcade sports games back.
Yes.
Like, I swear to you, if they make a new NFL Blitz game, it's gonna sell so disgustingly well. But you know, you can't get the licenses now, so whatever.
So San Francisco Rush was also at Midway.
Now, notably missing from our list is Metroid Dread and WarioWare and a bunch of other high-profile titles that we're not going to talk about because this is our retro show, and we only covered retro, rebooted, inspired, or themed games. So, if you want to hear some Metroid, you can listen to last week's Metroid discussion episode, and you can get all the Metroid you want. But for this episode, we are moving swiftly on to some game releases coming out this week. See if you guys are going to pick up any of these. We've got Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX coming to all consoles and PC on Thursday, June 24th. Anybody picking that one up? No Alex Kidd fans? Okay, I don't blame you. Moving on. Legend of Mana coming to PS4, Switch, and PC coming out on Thursday. John, I'm sure you're getting the physical version of this.
Yes.
Yeah. Sam, are you picking it up?
I'm going to have to catch up on this series first.
Okay.
I may keep an eye on it.
How about you, Jon J?
You know, I like the Mana series, but I think this is like quite a bit of a departure from the gameplay that was on the Super Nintendo. So I probably won't pick it up, but I'll watch some reviews. I've seen some stuff on it before, and it's a little bit more like the Tales of games that came out on like the PS1 or the Super Nintendo. So
okay, I don't know anything about it. The Mana games have never really been on my radar, so I'll probably skip it. Maybe someone will challenge me to play Secret of Mana someday. We'll see.
It is closer to the Tales gameplay than the traditional Mana.
Finally, is the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 coming to Nintendo Switch on Friday. Probably won't pick that up at launch, but it'll be a someday when it goes on sale, because it will definitely go on sale.
As history shows.
You know it will. And then finally, the limited run retro editions of Zombies Ate My Neighbors pre-orders are live. The cartridges, you can buy Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo cartridges that will work in your systems. They have a green one and they have the regular colored ones. Those pre-orders will close on July 18th. And then your Switch and PS4 versions pre-orders are open, and those will close on July 28th.
And this game also comes with Ghoul Patrol.
Yes, it's a collection.
Just to be clear.
Yeah, which Ghoul Patrol is really hard to find. I might pick up the Switch version physically. If not, it will be a digital pickup for me.
So I may get that for Switch at some point.
Yeah, they're super fun. I love these top-down shooter. You know, such a cool little.
I did finally get a copy of Big Sky Trooper, by the way.
Nice.
The one that the seller didn't ship to me before. I got my refund. I found another one.
That's good to hear. Thanks for the update.
Did it come in yet? Top-down shooter, I think, on the same engine. Yeah, it's in. It works.
That wasn't in your icebreaker list, Sam. You didn't break the ice fully.
Yeah, sorry.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to take another quick break right here. Then we've got a little bit of community content. And then we'll get into our top 5 N64 games of all time master list, according to us. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Break number 2 for this episode because it's a long one. Before we jump into our N64 game thing, I'm going to just chat a little bit about Retro Rewind for July. We have our poll up in the Nintendo Dads and in the RetroLogic Discord communities. The games are Metroid for the NES, which is available on the Wii U and Nintendo Switch Online and on 3DS. Metroid Fusion, which is only available on the Game Boy Advance or the Wii U, so that's going to be a bit of a tough one for some people to find, but I wanted to add it just in case there were enough people interested to jump in. Castlevania Bloodlines, which is on the Sega Genesis. It's also on the Switch via the Castlevania Collection. We have Blaster Master for the NES, 3DS, Wii U, Switch, and Nintendo Switch Online. And right now, the way things are sitting, Metroid Fusion is up by 1 vote, beating Castlevania Bloodlines, which is a very close second place. So, if you haven't voted yet, you can only vote once, either in the RetroLogic or the Nintendo Dads Discord. You can only vote once, so go throw your vote in, what you want to play, and that'll be our July Retro Rewind game. And we'll have our nice community discussion night about it as well at the end of July. So that is done, and we will now go over our top 5 N64 games of all time master list based on our personal lists. And Jon J, since you're our guest, here's what we're going to do. We all made our own top 5, and we're gonna kind of take our top 5s and sort of like mesh them together and try to make the like our as a group top 5 to try to come up with our master list. And that's how we're gonna try to do it. So let's go around the horn and let's pitch our number 5 game first, and we'll see where it lands with everybody else and see if it lands on the top 5. So Jon J, why don't you go first? Your number 5 game.
I think 4 out of 5 of my picks are going to be controversial. But my number 5 pick, if you like to chill and vibe while playing N64, Pilot Wings 64. It is just straight zen. You get the rocket guy, you get the hang glider. Soundtrack is killer.
Launch title.
Pilot Wings 64.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It's a good 5. All right, Sam.
My number 5 also lets you fly a plane, and it lets you be a monkey while you do it. It's Diddy Kong Racing. You can
Better
race
than Mario Kart.
Planes, cars, and hovercraft. It's actually, I will constantly defend, I think it is way better than Mario Kart 64.
Thank you very much.
Even the handling is, to me.
I can get on board with that, for sure.
And there's no blue shells.
There's
just
significantly
purple
less
rockets.
items overall, which is a mark against it, I think. But
I
no blue shells
like
is-
the item system, though. Getting multiple balloons to power up your weapon.
I like the system. I like Mario
and it
Kart's
has
variety.
like a story mode. It's awesome.
I'm not saying I like it better than Mario Kart. I'm just saying it has its
It's got
flaws.
dinosaurs, Dan.
I like
Battle
dinosaurs.
mode, though, on 64.
Yeah,
Mario Kart,
Block
pretty
Fort on 64 is
Hey.
pretty gnarly. All right,
Diddy Kong Racing had its fun
Had a
battle
battle
mode
mode,
also.
too. Yeah,
John-
I like the Ice Palace stage.
John, you're number 5.
I have GoldenEye at number 5.
Okay. Good deal. My number 5 is a little game called Space Station Silicon Valley. An incredibly underrated 3D platformer where you take control of multiple different robot animals. So
The original Grand
feeling-
Theft Auto.
yeah, the original Grand Theft
Yes.
Auto, same developers as Grand Theft Auto.
I have a feeling we're just going to end up with like a awesome top 20 because we're all probably going to have different games.
I know,
from each
right?
other.
No, there will be some crossover. I promise you there will be. All right, cool. So, Jon J, hit us with your number 4.
Okay, this is probably my most controversial pick here. My number 4 is Star Wars Episode 1 Battle for Naboo.
What in the world?
Okay, so lots of
Over
people
Rogue
don't even know
Squadron,
this
huh?
game. So Factor 5, they made Rogue Squadron. This was the follow-up to Rogue Squadron, but it's set in the Menace world, and you sort of play through the storyline. So I can't remember which pilot you are, but you pilot the Naboo starfighter. There's some land sequences with like a land speeder people don't like, but this game's pretty sweet, man. Star Wars Episode 1, Battle for Naboo, huge underrated title on the
All right.
N64.
Okay. I mean, that's your pick. That's your pick. I don't think I've ever even played it, but was it Factor 5?
I don't know if it was Factor 5 or
It
it was
is.
like a different
I just
Is it
looked it
Factor
up.
5? Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Well, then that's definitely underrated because Factor 5's no joke.
It was like right at the end of the N64, so nobody ever played it. But it was good.
Just looking at the screenshot, it reminds me of Vigilante 8.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. I could see that.
Sam, you're number 4.
My number 4 is a cult classic, one I didn't really appreciate until later, but that I did grow up with, and that's Mischief Makers. Very
Yes.
unlike anything else on the N64. Grab, shake,
Treasure.
and throw.
Treasure, man. Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. The only side scroller, or yeah, the only 2D side scroller.
Kirby, man.
That's not
You can
2D.
use the D-pad.
That's a 3D side scroller.
He's basically... it's only
No,
two-dimensional.
sprites and polygons are
direction-wise.
different. Different, John. John, what's your number 4 then?
I have Gauntlet Legends at number 4.
Solid,
That is
man.
such a great game.
And then my number 4 is Donkey Kong 64. Fight me.
I think he is.
Not as, yeah, I mean, it's controversial, but I love it. It's everything that we loved about 3D platformers, and then they just did more of that, and I don't see a problem with it. Is it too much?
It's sort of like when you go to one of those restaurants and they're like, if you can eat this burger within an hour, you can have it for free.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, there is a lot of good stuff in there, but I don't know if I want to try and
What?
consume it all.
Too much of a good thing? Okay, I'll. That's fair. That's why it's my
I
number
think
4.
that if it would have came out before Banjo-Kazooie, I think you would have had a solid winner out of it.
You
I think everyone was done collecting.
Yeah,
I think there's so much good stuff in Donkey Kong 64, and I wish it would get a remake. I think some, like, actually just some really small tweaks could make that game so much better. But
The battle mode was actually pretty fun for
yeah, the
what it
multiplayer.
was.
Yeah, big time. There's definitely some padding in that game. I'm not gonna lie, and some annoying stuff. I just think that it kind of It's such a good culmination of like everything we love, and people give it a bad rap. But Jon J, give us your number 3.
Okay, this might not be as controversial, but I picked Mario Tennis for my number 3.
Nice.
And I just remember having such a good time with this game, especially the multiplayer, 4-player. Sam was talking about it earlier. It's just a classic, man. I played Ultra Smash on the Wii U, and I was like, this is terrible. I just want to go back to the N64 one. So, holds up.
Yeah, that's a solid
Yeah,
one.
no, there's just no way you can even improve on the Mario Tennis formula from that,
Just
honestly.
add Waluigi. That was Waluigi's first game. So
Yeah.
it's a winner in
It
my
was
book.
last.
Sam, you're number
Alright.
4.
As uncontroversial as
sorry.
it gets, except for the fact that it's not number 1, number 3 for me is Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
Told you. Top 20 here is what we're going to end up with. My number 3 is Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
See, I think Majora's Mask is a better game than Ocarina. Straight up.
This is my guy right here.
Yeah, Jon J.
It's a tighter experience.
Must be a John thing.
Yeah.
I just can't. There's so much about that game that I do not understand, and I
never finished it.
So
I don't think you gave it a fair shake when it came out, Dan.
I mean,
it didn't.
I
No,
will admit-
here's what it did. It didn't give me a fair shake. That's what happened. My number 3 is Ocarina of Time.
Oh, here we go. Now we got some continuity.
A little bit.
You know, I feel like if you like to just wander around and just kind of do whatever, Ocarina of Time is a better pick. But whenever I play a children's fantasy game, I want just a severe sense of existential dread. And Majora's Mask brings that, you know? It's basically like, we are all gonna die. There's nothing we can do to stop it. It's like a really pessimistic Groundhog Day where you like save people, but then you come back again and this time you can't save them because you can't do it all in one go.
Exactly. Yeah, somebody has to go.
Okay.
That's right. Tough choice.
It's more structured too.
It's a very different game than Ocarina of Time, and I will give you that. And so, yeah, if you're that kind of person, then I can totally see why, you know, even with I played it on the 3DS for crying out loud, and even with all of the quality of life improvements, the game felt like it was pushing me away at every turn. It was like, here's another annoying thing that you have to keep in your head or remember, or here's hide and seek for some reason. Like I just didn't. None of it really like clicked with me. I will say, here's what I'll say in defense of Ocarina of Time, is the story of in defense of Majora's Mask, is that the story of Majora's Mask is absolutely probably one of the best video game stories of all time. And I've watched like speed throughs of Majora's Mask just to get to the story beats, and it's incredible, and I love it. I just wish the game was better. That's.
Can I just say, I think Majora's Mask is a chapter game above anything else. And so it's like, you do what you need to do to get to the next temple, then you go back in time. Then you do the temple, then you go back in time. So there's like, 7 or 8 chapters to the game. And last time I played it like maybe an hour and a half at a time. And then like a day or two later would pick it up again and play another chapter. But if you don't like being rushed, you're not going to like Majora's Mask.
I just wanted...
You have to make decisions. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
So, Jon J, is Majora's Mask your number 2?
No. It's not even on my list.
Oh, it's his number 1. No.
For number 2, I picked a classic, and I really believe that there's better versions of this that came out afterwards, but if you're looking for a great N64 multiplayer game, Super Smash Bros., the original. Me and my friends sunk so many hours into this game when it first came out. It's legendary, and it's insane that it was even on the N64.
It's a good pick. Sam,
I
number
wanted
2?
it on my list, but it kind of got crowded out. If I was going off of impact, definitely, because of how huge Smash is now, but I was thinking more just games I still want to play now.
If this was a GameCube
my
list, I think
number 2
Melee would be on all of our lists.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
My number 2 is Mario 64. Out of all the 3D platformers, I think even though it's the first, it's still the best. Part of that's my own preferences. I think it's a bit more structured the way a Mario game is usually, even though it was 3D, even though they had to kind of give you the collecting, even you just look at, the first level, you got to climb the mountain, right? So it still has kind of the obstacle course feel of 2D Mario, and I prefer that.
In the first level, you also have to climb a flagpole.
Yep.
John, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Ogre Battle 64.
Ooh, okay.
Which is, again, like I said, nobody's going to have the games I have on my list.
That is like one of 2 or 3, JRPGs on the 64 that came to the US.
Oh yeah.
It's like that and Quest 64.
Yeah.
And
Aiden's
Aiden's Chronicle.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm just gonna blow my number one.
Paper
now.
Mario, if you
Yeah, Paper Mario.
That's my number one.
Yes.
Paper Mario.
True.
so good. Okay.
It's one of those you just don't think of it as a JRPG.
Let's go in order here, though. We'll have a chance to talk about Paper Mario for sure. My number 2 is also Super Mario 64. Just it is the Nintendo 64 game, and it changed everything. So it can't not be on the list for sure. And we are down to our number 1 picks, and so Jon J, hit us with your number 1.
My number 1 pick is one of my favorite games of all time. I think it's one of the greatest games of all time. And if you're talking about a Zen game, something to vibe to, it is Wave Race 64.
Man.
No one has ever done jet skiing this well before. Nobody's even done racing on water this well before. Even Hydro Thunder. Sorry, but Wave Race 64 just has something magical about it. Such a great game.
All right.
Still the best water.
Still the best water.
The water looks so good. The physics, it's amazing.
Just how it impacted your steering and things is pretty crazy.
Sam, hit us with it.
Paper Mario, man.
Drop it. That's what's up.
It's like we said, RPGs were pretty scarce. Even just on a console that was so big on party games and multiplayer games, even just single player experiences were relatively scarce.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got your Zeldas and like stuff like Mario 64 or Banjo-Kazooie in there as well, but for me, this is the game I remember playing all the way. I still go back to it, and this is a game that I never, because I was still young at the time, Ocarina of Time, Zelda, I just got stuck and I kind of gave up. But like this is one that I was able to play all the way through, and I played through I played all the way through the game when I was like 10, and I played through the game again when I was 12. And I played through the game again when I was 14, I just kept going back to it.
So Paper Mario has such a special place in my heart because Super Mario RPG was my jam on the Super Nintendo. Hardcore. And this was like kind of the sequel to that in a way. Like they advertised it as such. And so I got it day one and was just immediately engrossed, even though it was totally different from Super Mario RPG in its storytelling, not in storytelling, but in its visuals and its battle systems were totally thrown out the window. But it still had the like charm and story hilariousness and like funny dialogue of Super Mario RPG. So it kept like the spirit of it, but went in a totally different direction. But I still really, really love it. John, you're number 1.
Mine?
Mm-hmm.
Harvest Moon 64, which
Yeah.
I just recently put into the Nintendo Dads Hall of Fame. When this game came out, I actually picked this game up trying to get the Super Nintendo game because I had a buddy that had it and really liked it. And I've played through this game countless times. I've got my kids all into playing them over the years. There's so many different ones you can play. It's a relaxing game that you just kind of hang out, do some farming and stuff.
It's a chill game, as Jon J likes to say.
It's very chill, yes.
Chill out.
Very chill.
What the
So
world needs right now. Chill games.
guys, I just
Yes.
got to say that I'm really, really disappointed with all of you right now. Every single one of you. Jon J, I don't even know you that well, dude, but I'm just disappointed. Because you all, nowhere on your list was the greatest N64 game that ever existed and still exists, which is Star Fox 64. The most well-designed, complete experience. They remade it. They made this game 3 times. They made it on the Super Nintendo, they perfected it on the N64, and then they tried to remake it on the Wii U, and they failed because you cannot improve upon perfection. It's perfect in every way. Did it need a multiplayer mode? Probably not. On 3DS. Perfected on 3DS as well. Did they need a multiplayer mode? Probably not. But it's there. And it's so good. So good. It's concise. It does what it does perfectly. It's the best game. It's the best.
You can do barrel rolls.
You could do barrel rolls.
That's cool.
So
got a frog in it.
There's a frog in it. Forest animals in space. Come on.
Yes.
Okay.
Puppets.
So there's only a couple of games here that we mentioned more than once.
I think we failed.
It's just Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time.
Was Super Smash Brothers mentioned more than once?
Nope, just Jon J.
Okay.
On the official lists.
I think
it was like my number 6 if we would have done 6.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all approach this list differently because, like, the way I was thinking about it was like, if I had an N64 connected in my room right now, these are like the 5 games that I would want to have. Okay. But there's also like influence and impact and all that kind of stuff. I have, the DS Mario 64 and the Super Mario All-Stars on the Switch, and Star Fox 64 on 3DS and the Ocarina of Time on 3DS and like all that kind of stuff. So I do love all those games, but I feel like there's a lot of underrated hidden gems on the 64 the world needs to know about. Everybody knows Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
A lot of people complain about games that are stuck on consoles. There's a ton of games stuck on the N64 that won't ever go anywhere.
Yeah.
Because of how they look.
I mean, I'll say if we got that GoldenEye Xbox 360 remake that was made and then shelved and you had dual analog, I mean, I would play the crap out of that. But I don't really have a big desire to go back to GoldenEye on the 64 just because that controller is just...
Did you play the Wii one?
I didn't, no. Was it good?
It didn't feel right. Having 2 sticks in GoldenEye didn't feel right.
No, like there was a 360 that was like actually the code of the original GoldenEye up-res, and it was just like Perfect Dark on Rare Replay. You could switch between the 2 resolutions. It was beautiful.
Was that an Xbox Arcade release? I think it was.
It was going to be an Xbox Arcade release. It never got out there.
Yeah.
It's been leaked though now, and people have access to it, so there are ways to play it.
So here's how the list here panned out. If we assigned everything a point value, right, where like your number 5 game got 1 point and your number 1 game got 5 points, the way that it sits right now, Super Mario 64 is at 8 points. Ocarina of Time is at 6 points, and then there's a 4-way tie for number 3 at 5 points, which is all of our number 1s. So if we delete the rest of our entire lists, except for each of our number 1s and Ocarina of Time and Super Mario 64, we still have to erase one of these games from the list in order to just narrow it down to 5.
What are the 4 number 1s again?
Star Fox 64, Harvest Moon 64, Paper Mario, and Wave Race.
Harvest Moon.
Harvest Moon is out, man. Calling you out, Jon.
I know.
I'll be honest. As much as I love Wave Race, I don't think it belongs on a top 5. It's just not. It's not a.
Yeah. I say Star Fox is safe.
Blasphemy.
Star Fox would be my next choice after Paper Mario.
Okay. I think
here's my argument.
Part of me wants to say Harvest Moon just because you can play that on PS1, and the PS1 version is actually kind of better.
See, I would argue that farming sims have come a long way since the Nintendo 64, and we have Stardew Valley now. So we don't, and it's like everything has a farm.
But the
instrument
thing is,
now.
though, like I played "It's a Wonderful Life" on the GameCube, and I hated it. Like,
But
I
ask
wanted
yourself,
64 back.
So I just want
how far has jet skiing?
I was
come?
just waiting for you to say that crap, dude. I was waiting for it. That's why I was cracking up, because I'm like, literally Blue Storm? Like, does Hydro Thunder count? What are we talking about right now?
Did you guys see that episode? Or
Jet Moto?
spoilers for Loki? Not big spoilers, but there's a scene where he's just like, "Why do you have a magazine with a jet ski in it?" He's like, "There was a certain time in the '90s. There's jet skis." Dude, Blue Storm is not as good of a game.
I agree.
Right? It's not as good. It doesn't have the charm. Hydro Thunder is cool. It's best experienced in the arcade.
Or Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Dreamcast is the best console version.
So what it sounds like is that we have to decide whether Harvest Moon 64 or Wave Race gets kicked off of the top 5. I didn't think it would come to this, but somebody's getting
I think we'll
booted.
have to flip a coin.
Is it going to come to a coin flip? Do I have any?
I got a coin.
Okay.
I did have a coin.
Here's what I have. Hang on. I have the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate commemorative coin that I got from Best Buy.
I just want to clarify, this is the nerdiest conversation I've had in a long time.
You're welcome.
Which is awesome.
Welcome to RetroLogic. So, Smash logo is going to be Wave Race 64, and the Smash Brothers Ultimate text side is going to be Harvest Moon. Okay, are we ready? This is 50-50 fair.
Suspense.
This is it. Flip a coin.
My heart is pounding.
Super Smash Brothers Ultimate text,
Oh,
which means that
Wow.
Wave Race.
wow.
Jon J, I know you're our guest, but fate was not on your side today,
That's
my
bad,
friend.
Wave Race.
This is
Should have rolled
Crazy.
Crushing.
320s, 20-side die.
You know, man, that means none of your games, John, made it onto the top 5. Oh,
You
wow.
know, wow, guys, I feel like I'm the guest, so I should get double points for
We do
all
have
of
to.
my choices.
We do have
Just
to concede to you somehow.
Just kidding. No, it's all right, guys. As long as somebody out there picks up Battle for Naboo because they heard me talking about it, I'm happy. You know?
Oh, I'm going to have to pick this up now just because I haven't ever played it.
Yeah, me
If
either.
you like Rogue
I'm shocked.
Squadron, it's like the same
think
game.
I've played every one of the games on here that we've talked about except for that one.
Well, this
Honorable
is a great show to
mention-
do that. I mean, I made Dan pick up Odama just 30 minutes
Literally
ago.
just now. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
The World Is Not Enough on GameCube. That is the James Bond follow-up to GoldenEye. Nobody's ever played that one either. It's a great
That was
game.
on N64 though.
Yeah.
Oh, you said on GameCube.
Oh, sorry.
You're confusing
World's
me.
Not
I
Enough
have that
on
one.
N64.
And it
Did you have
is.
that one?
Yes,
It was
it is
good.
awesome. Yeah, the
Rock
grenade launcher in that game was awesome.
Yeah. You can steer the missiles.
Yes.
We're not quite
Which-
done with our list. As
They
much as
got that
I
with
love-
Perfect Dark.
As much as I love listening to you guys talk about James Bond, because I love James Bond, we have to decide what order Star Fox, Paper Mario, and Harvest Moon sit in our 3, 4, and 5 spots. Now, Star Fox number 3, Paper Mario number 4, Harvest Moon number 5. How does that sit with everybody?
I can
I
get on
honestly
board with
think-
that.
I don't know. I'm gonna side with Sam. I think Paper Mario is the better game. I'll take my game as last.
Star Fox would have been 6 on my list, but obviously I put Paper Mario at number 1 for a reason.
I mean, it's hard because I have a lot of love for Paper Mario. Paper Mario probably would have been 6 on my list. So Purple Burr.
I think we're gonna have to flip the coin
Are
again.
we gonna flip the coin again? Oh my god, guys, we can't decide
It's too-
anything. This is why
It's
you
Wave
don't.
way-
Race
two.
come back from like Redemption Island, you know, and get
Yeah.
voted back in, or
Oh man. Okay, we'll have to have a part 2. We have to because the coin is being very cruel tonight. Okay, we've got the Smash Brothers coin. We've got if Smash Brothers logo is going to be Star Fox at number 3. Text side is going to be Paper Mario at number 3. Here we go. Flipping the coin again. Pow. Oh, my mic. Oh, God. Okay. We have text side.
Paper Mario.
So, Paper Mario at number 3. Star Fox.
Greatest.
Which I'm not...
Greatest game.
You know, I'm not mad about. I love Paper Mario, but...
Paper Mario is awesome.
Star Fox 64 is like god tier game design. Okay, so here we are.
I love Star Fox 64, but it's a 3-hour game. Like,
yeah, if you play it once.
I mean, that's why I never bought it, because I played it twice without buying it.
If you only,
as a dad
with
with kids, 3-hour games are the greatest. The greatest.
That's what I'm talking about. This is a game that I can play today and beat in an hour. Done. Beat Andros, killed it. I did it on stream. But you don't get to experience the full game until you unlock all the secrets, get to all the planets, get to that sub level, get to both tank levels, guys. Get to the freaking sun.
Unlock the on foot in multiplayer.
Come on. Now we're talking some Star Fox. Okay. Here's the official master list of the best N64 games of all time. We've got number 1, Super Mario 64. It was never going to be any other way. Number 2, Ocarina of Time. Also wasn't going to be any other way. Number 3, Paper Mario. Number 4, Star Fox 64. Criminally underrated. And number 5, Harvest Moon 64. I don't know how it made it on the list, but there it is. There is the list, guys.
By the flip of a coin, it made it on the list.
And we are going to have Jon J back to redeem himself for our part 2. We'll do
GameCube top 5.
We'll do GameCube top. No, we gotta
Yes.
do our top 10 in 64. We'll do 6 to
my
10.
number 1's gonna be Odama for GameCube.
Yeah, no. It says
I gotta get it on the list.
Guys, that's our show. I'm gonna wrap it up because it's been 2 hours, and I don't know that I could talk anymore. Almost 2 hours. But I want to thank Jon J. So much for jumping in and having some fun with us and talking retro, and having some really strong opinions about James Bond. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're working on, where people can find you, and some of your projects you've got running?
Hey guys, yeah, you can find me at JonJ3000 on Twitter, also JonJ3000 on YouTube. And if you like N64, I'm doing a series right now called N64 Revisited, where I'm revisiting some games that are controversial and seeing if they still hold up. And I'm currently working on a series of video essays called Digital Geisha, the Online Economy of Parasocial Relationships. So if you like video essays about super esoteric topics,
wow,
you might enjoy this.
Okay, I didn't know that, and that's really interesting.
Yeah, man.
Good. Well, John, you're always welcome here at RetroLogic. I was on the Stream 3000 not too long ago.
Yeah.
We had a great time chatting about N64, so I knew I had to have you on to chat more about that.
So, sorry, one more shout out. That's my show where I interview people, and I'm always looking for more people to interview. So, hey, at me on Twitter to be like, you got to interview this person, because I'm all about people coming on and telling their stories. So
it was a great time.
Let me know.
Yeah, totally. John and Sam, thank you guys again for hanging out, having some great chats. Do y'all have anything you want to say before we close out?
Odama Rama.
I saw you and I knew you were going to say some dumb thing. I love you guys. Okay. Well, thanks for listening to the RetroLogic podcast. We are proudly part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. If you like what you hear, you can check me out on Twitter and Instagram at RetroLogic Games. You're also welcome to jump into our friendly and 100% non-toxic Discord community of retro gamers and just people who like video games, because we talk about all kinds of things. And every Friday, I give something away and I ship it to your house. It's usually some retro game or a sticker or something neat that we have going on. I gave away a t-shirt the other week. We had a copy of Total Carnage on the Super Nintendo that we gave away. We gave away a copy of Plop.
Ranking.
Jump into the Discord, get some free stuff, come hang. It's a great time. The link to that Discord is an open Discord link in my Twitter bio. And you can find all the RetroLogic stuff, the game store, the merch, the podcast links, the Discord links, all the stuff, everything you want that we've got going on at the website retrologic.games. Thank you for listening, and we will catch y'all next week. Break.
Yep,
I need to go
that.
kill a roach for my wife really quick.
Yeah,
So,
go for it. And
I'll be
work
right
this
back.
list real quick.
Y'all don't talk about anything too interesting. Save it.